Now we have to work on the latest work section. Select the child div block of this section. Click on the class style selector, and in the drop-down, select container. Next, enable inline classes. Go to the margin and padding section. For both padding top and padding bottom, select 20. Next, go to the text section. For align, select center. Next, select the first child div of this container block. Go to the margin and padding section. For both padding right and padding left, select 4. For margin bottom, select 4. Now go to dimension, and for width, select full. On the Breakpoint tabs, click large. For the dimension section, for width, select 1 of 2. Go to the margins and padding section. For both margin right and margin left, select auto. When you're done, select all on the Breakpoints tab. Now for the contents inside. Click on the H2 element, then click on the Class Style Selector, and in the drop-down, select Main Title. For the next P element, I'm going to leave it at the default. Next, we have a section where there are 4 blocks of images and content. Let's move on with the first div block, which will be our row block, and the direct child will be our columns. Select on the div block, click on the Class Style Selector. In the drop-down, select Row. Beside the row style, I'm also going to add margin bottom for this block. Enable Inline and go to the margin and padding section. For margin bottom, select 4. Now let's work on the 4 divs inside, which will end up being our columns. Select all 4 divs of this row block. Click on the Class Style Selector. In the drop-down, select Column. Now let's apply a width to these columns for responsive views. In the Properties panel, click on Inline. Select Large on the Breakpoint tabs. Go to Dimension, and for width, select 3 of 12. Now for smaller screens. Select Small on the Breakpoint tabs. Go to Dimension, and for width, select 6 of 12. When you're done, select All on the Breakpoint tabs. Now select the A link element in all 4 columns. Press either Control or Command, depending on your operating system, and click on each element. These blocks have content centered because one of the parent elements has a text centered applied to it. Go to the Properties panel, go to the Text section, and for Align, select Left. Go to Display and select Block. Since this is a link block, for now I'm going to add a simple hover effect. On the pseudo-state selector, select Hover. In the Display section, for opacity, select 75. Now reset the pseudo-state selector to none, and if you hover over the block, you should see the effect. Now let's move on to the image inside these link blocks. Select all 4 images inside the link block. On the Properties panel, for width, select Full. For height, select 64. Since we've set a fixed height, our images will get stretched or contracted if it doesn't fit into the block. To cure this, we can set the Object Fit properties. Go to the Display section. For Object Fit, select Cover. Now we're done with the images. Let's work on the div which contains the text and the icons. select all 4 divs inside the link blocks. On display, select Flex. Go to the Flex Container section, and for Align Items, select Center. For the Justify Content, select Space Between. Go to the Margin and Padding section. For both padding right and padding left, select 4. For both padding top and padding bottom, select 3. Now go to Background. Select Indigo 100. Now our latest work section is almost finished. The only element left is the title text. Select all 4 H5 elements. Go to the Text section. For size, select Base. For color, select Gray 900. For weight, select Semi-Bold. Now the last thing in the latest work section is a link element. Select the link element. Go to the Properties panel. Click on Class Style Selector, and in the drop-down, select Button. Now we're done with the latest work section. Let's move on to the last footer section.